I see it as an opportunity. And trust me, he did good business. Now, maybe you guys can relate to any one of your examples, but the reality is there are 2 or 3 lessons out here. A, you may be the best guy in the world, but if you're going to live in your own cocoon, it's not going to help you. You have to go out and sell. Number 1. Number 2 is you have to differentiate yourself. If by just being the Me Too guy, you are not helping anyone. You are then a commodity. And number 3 is that many times the alternate thinking and looking for an opportunities can happen in some of the easiest circumstances around you. So I can only tell you is that there are many case studies. Every time you come across people who are doing things differently, it doesn't matter what level of society they are from. It's not necessary that they are the chairmen or the governors or the ministers or the CEOs of another firms. That innovation happens every day. And it happens in front of you. It happens in every form of your life. I mean, again, many different examples I can give you. But again, I'm trying to give you the day-to-day examples. We came from a family which had to live very frugally. My mother, if on a 25th you asked her something, the typical answer was, talk to me after the payday. And she had to buy one when I went into school, and I had to wear this jacket, and she had to buy a jacket. Now obviously, A, she is trying to optimize the cost because she doesn't have much money. And number 2, she definitely wants me to look good in whatever I wear. And I remember a 3-hour, 4-hour journey with her. I mean, those days ready-mades was not a kind of a thing. We couldn't do the internet comparison of various products and prices. Now she goes around in the market, learns something with somebody. This kind of a cloth, this much of a density, this much of wool per square inch, this much of a blend, this looks or that looks. But the point is, in 3 hours she actually learnt it from all the shopkeepers that she went around asking for information. So 2 things came very clearly. Number 1, if you make an effort, there is enough information available. Number 2, that there is an alternate method which can save you and your firm. And number 4 is knowledge is power. Because with the knowledge that she was gathering, she was able to negotiate a lot better ultimately when she bought the coat cloth. So my again point of all these conversations is that in your jobs, you are joining in. One guy would say, what is my work? He will do 9 to 5. He will be paid well because all of you are from, NIDM. So obviously your placement cell has done a great job. You guys did a great job. Your soft skill training has been wonderful. You got in at the same level at everybody else because you got in almost as either a senior management trainee, global leadership cadre, or assistant vice presidents or whatever. I mean, every organization has different formats. Question is, how do you get ahead? Question is, how will that, out of the 20 or 10 management trainees of a similar batch, how would you become the number 1? And if you are going to be number 1, just remember there are only 2 ways to look at it. Number 1, think like an owner, not as an employee. When you think like an owner, you will automatically add value. You would not be looking at the things that are not around you. You will look at how can I create things. The change that I have seen is the same student when he is in an organization, he is in 32 committees. He could be a brand manager of the institute. He could be on the canteen committee. He could be on a logistics committee. He could be on a reception committee. He could be doing 32 different jobs. But the day he comes into a company, he starts questioning, has the company provided me food? Has the company provided me transport? Has the company done this for me? And that's exactly what you don't want to do. because you want to continue to have the same spirit of ownership that you had when you were a student, when you were in college. It's the same spirit of ownership the way you would demonstrate within a group of friends or at home. If you treat your workplace, your organization, and if you start thinking like an owner, trust me, that is the day you have started going ahead of others. So the simple, and for some of us, we have to translate this, whatever I've been talking, and I could go on forever, but I'm quite conscious that there's a lot more that we want to do this afternoon. Some of us, when we acquired Satyam, people did tell us that it's a risk. But then remember, Vikram Pandit did not need money when he became the CEO of Citibank. A.M. Naik, who is the chairman of Larsen and Toubro, he's not doing it for money. K.V. Kamath, what he achieved in ICCI is not for money. That you want to make a difference. You yourself want to be not only differentiated, but you want to make a difference for the organization. As long as you can work on some of these fundamentals, trust me, when we acquired Satyam, it was considered a risk. And we are owner managers. When we are in Mahindra, we were the owner managers. When I went back to the boards of Tech Mahindra, I went to the board of Mahindra and Mahindra. And when I went to the board of British Telecom, because as you know, Tech Mahindra is a joint venture between Mahindra and BT. And it was a risky decision. And a lot of times, like any other board, they were not worried only about the money. They were also worried about their brand image, because ultimately we were buying a stamp-tainted company. Now, I had to convince them, but then I had the passion. I felt like an owner. It may be hit with somebody else's money. For all I care, it was the bank's money. But if I am the owner, if I'm passionate about it, if I'm willing to make a difference, I will find a method of doing it. And all of, when people around me ultimately said, what do we want? Can we distill all of this and communicate to the rest of the world? And we called it the principles of RISE. So net, if I were to submit, as you all, as an MBA student, if I have to tell you what all one has learned from experience, that ultimate knockout performance at work comes when you rise. And the tenets of RISE are by accepting no limits. And I'm saying by accepting ethical limits. Not by accepting no limit does not mean that cross the boundaries. Alternative thinking, because there is always a better way of doing things. And by driving positive change. Don't get into that other 50% of the people who have always looked at the problems. Even if the government of India is having problems, which we think we are having, look at how we can make it better. How can we contribute? So always drive positive change. That one extra effort that we can do to drive a positive change, we are making a difference. So, as far as I am concerned, this is your opportunity. This is your time. You are at the right place. India is a land of opportunities. If globe is going through a tough times, it is your opportunity. So, I can only request all of you is, be the entrepreneur managers of tomorrow, seize the opportunity, and not only rise every morning, but be a risator. So welcome to the corporate world, welcome to the world of MBA, and thank you guys.